call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts obsession, I will not stop, no I'm never second.
Welcome back, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe if you like this video. We're going to go right into it. So the Miami Dolphins just got their new offensive coordinator, and honestly, I really don't know what to think, because there's both sides of him being decent and him being not so decent. And these are just reports, but what I can say is we can show you the stats. So the reason that Mike McDaniel probably hired him is because he was with Mike McDaniel in 2021 when Mike McDaniel was on the 49ers. So he knows him. I'm guessing that is the reason why he hired him. I'm guessing he's seen something that, he really likes in Butch Berry. But last year, what I can say is he was on the Denver Broncos. The year before that, he was on the 49ers, and then before that, Packers, the U, and, a couple of teams, Michigan. He was a senior analyst at the Green Bay Packers. When he was with the 49ers, he was an assistant offensive line coach. He wasn't an official offensive line coach. And Denver was basically like his first stint as like the actual offensive line coach. The 49ers, they had 127 rush yards per game on average and let up 33 sacks. And the Denver Broncos, 60-something sacks, and he had 119 rush yards, or he had 113.8 rush yards per game with the 66 sacks. Now, what I can also say is I'm watching some of the highlights because I'm trying to figure out, hiring Vic Fangio and then, going and hiring someone else that we really didn't see coming. I wanted to see, obviously Denver had a lot of sacks, but they also had way more rushing yards, almost like 20 more rushing yards per game than the Dolphins did. And what I can say is I want to give a little bit of bright side to him. Honestly, me watching the tape with the Broncos, I see a lot of good blocking. Like, I just, there's a report that came out from somebody, which I don't know if people are trying to start fire or something along those lines, but there was a report that people were cheering when he got fired. But we don't know if that's an actual thing or if that's just speculation or whatnot. It doesn't matter. We don't know if they was cheering for like something else. We don't know exactly what happened. Because when I'm watching the tape, honestly, Russell Wilson, to me, just seems to hold the ball for way too long. I see a lot of pretty good blocking for the offensive line. I don't see a lot of people just getting right through. I see him, honestly, rushing to throw the ball. And there's a lot of time where he has a good, clean pocket. Maybe you move up in it, but that's any quarterback. And it looked pretty good to me. So, honestly, they had more rush yards per game with, a worser team, worser running backs than us, and Mike McDaniel knows him. And I'm after this season, I'm really starting to like Mike McDaniel. I think he's making the right. You won't just make a move like Vic Fangio and then hire somebody that sucks just because you know him. He's not going to do that. So, like I said, sometimes you have to take into account not just the offensive line, but also the quarterback and the running backs and everything that are around it. I don't think that they had as good running backs as we did, and I think they got more yardage from their running backs. And I also, like I said, watching the tape, I see a lot of highlights where, Russell Wilson has a lot of time to throw, and he's just making the wrong decisions. He just throws into coverage for no reason, and it just doesn't seem like he's really there anymore. So what I can say is it's kind of a weird situation that they were also 9th in run and pass block percentage in the league, but they took the most sacks. Now, I can tell you that with Tua, I think the reason that we had the amount of sacks, the 33 I think it was, is because Tua gets the ball out quick. And a lot of quarterbacks don't do that. A lot of quarterbacks can't really read and understand what they're seeing to be able to do that. And I think it's the exact opposite of, Russell Wilson holds on to the ball way too long, doesn't really know where he's trying to go with it, and the offensive line can't hold people for that long. So it's a weird situation. I'm hoping that Mike McDaniel sees, what he needs to see from him, and we'll see. Honestly, it's a mixed bag with Butch Berry, and it's just the time will tell from the season, who we get, who we hire. I think we'll hire some 49ers players, we'll sign some 49ers players in the offseason because I think Mike McDaniel likes to do that. But yeah, it's going to be one of those things that we'll see what happens during the season. But just wanted to update you guys. New offensive line coach, Butch Berry. He's from the Denver Broncos. And like I said, watch his tape, there's a lot of plays where the offensive line looks good, It's just Russell Wilson is just making poor decisions. So, like I said, research it. I want you to see what you think. Maybe tell me wrong in the comments. I think it's pretty decent. I think he can do a good job. I think he's a new offensive line coach, and he might learn from some of his mistakes in his past jobs and come into this with a new mindset. But hope you have a great rest of your day as always, and fins up. Peace.